Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Joyce is here from a very cool Mesa, Arizona. Joyce, it's only 51 degrees in Mesa, and we have almost 70 degrees here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. How crazy is that? Christina's here from Stockholm, and she has 53 degrees. Good morning, Linda, my Michigander friend, and Ruth Ellen says, Joyce, it seems like we're going to have a day much like yours in Northern Virginia. It's time to start raking leaves. Evelyn, I'm afraid here we've already raked our leaves, we've bagged our leaves, and we are in the process of having them collected up by the city. So hopefully we're done. Except the oak trees. Those never go to last. Evelyn's here from Indiana. Good morning. Marcy's here from Houston. Marcy, I hope you're going to get to Quilt Festival. Sharon's here from Dover, Delaware, and designs by Christina Cunningham is here from Admire, Kansas. What a cool name. I really like that. So this morning, let's take a look at what we're going to do. We are going to look at Donna MaCauley Quilting Wish Bone Template Set. Okay. Hi, Erin. Good morning from Ohio. Oh, good, Marcy. I'm so glad. There's a gal who, Tatiana, and I cannot pronounce her last name, from the Ukraine. She's got quilts in there this year, and I have been watching her for quite some time. She makes little itsy bitsy teeny tiny points and puts them on, and it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I hope you get to see that quilt. Linda, good morning from Rhode Island. We've got almost the whole country spoken for here. So let's turn ourselves back to the Wishbone template set. What we have is a template set with 4 templates in it. And the templates come in 4 different sizes, so that we can do some really fun and different things with them. Okay. Um, I think they're going to surprise you. I really do. Di, good morning. You made it from Southern California, and Pam is here from Maine. We now have all corners of the country represented. Yay. Okay, so this is the insert that comes with the templates. And what you're going to notice is they do look like a wishbone, but that's okay because we can do a lot of really intricate designs and background fills with them. And you'll see some of these here we're going to take a look at. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out, if you want to do this rotation, it is 12 points. It's a 12 point, it's using your 6-point crosshair ruler twice. It's not 16. So we're gonna try it on an 8-point this morning and see how that looks. Okay. And our sizes are a 2-inch wishbone, which is the baby. And then we've got a 2.5-inch, which is our teenager, our 3.5-inch mom, and or 4.5-inch dad. Okay. I don't know why I feel as though I have to make these into family members, but it just helps me remember a little easier. Hi, Jan. So glad you made it this morning. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at markings before we put these away. And I'm going to use this size because it's easier for you all to see on the camera. We have a vertical marking, and this is our vertical center. we have a horizontal marking, which is our horizontal center. And then we have some markings down here, which will intersect where the needle would be. And we also have one at the top that intersects where the needle would be. Now, there is one thing I want to talk about with this template. You only need to put staple tape on one side. I usually put it on the back side. Couple reasons I like the back side. One is when you see you've got this etched line right here, when it is down on your fabric or your paper if you're drawing, what's going to happen is it's going to be a true representation onto the fabric of really where that line is. Okay. If we have the line up on top like this, we have the template turned over. What can happen is any shadows that are thrown will make it off of where that line actually is, and it can get a little confusing. Now, the other thing I want to tell you about this template is it's symmetrical if it's flipped vertically. Okay, so what does that mean? What that means is if I flip this template like this, the design is exactly the same. So it's symmetrical. Now, it's not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical if we flip it horizontally. And this would be what I mean. We have the two edges pointing up and the single edge pointing down. And if I flip it this way, we have the single edge pointing up and the two edges pointing down. So that's asymmetrical. Okay. In this, here's a little language lesson. In this word, A is not. So it's not symmetrical. Okay. So let's go ahead and take these and put them aside, and let's go ahead and get started and see who else might be here this morning. Jan has come from Texas. And Lee is here from Indiana. Good morning, ladies. Does everybody have their coffee, I hope, or caffeine of choice? Some like tea, others like me prefer Diet Mountain Dew. I know, right? Yeah, one or two a day is about all I can handle in this old age. Oh, used to drink a whole lot of it, but not anymore. Okay, let's take a look and line this up here and see what's going to happen. Our foot is going to go here. We're going to come around here all the way around here and end up there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our first rotation. And again, I need to set my foot. Okay. Wanda, good morning. Wanda is my crosstown neighbor, and Becky's here from Washington. Good morning, Janice. Janice just lives in the neighboring state. So we've got all kinds of local friends here too joining us. It's so good to see you gals. I really miss you. We used to hang out in the quilt shop together. Okay. So let's go ahead and set that height on that foot. Remember, I'm going to take this out here and put it down. What we don't want is we don't want that. That's a little too low, right? So we're going to lift it up, and we don't want it up so high that we have a whole lot of space underneath it like this. That's going to cause skipped stitches. So what we want is we want this foot to just kiss the top of the fabric, and there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my template, I'm going to place it, pull my bobbin thread up. And the reason that we do that, these are things I don't really mention every single time we're together, but they're good to remember. We want to pull our bobbin thread up so that we don't end up with a thread nest, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to stick to one side and then we're going to come on the inside and go back to the outside because this channel, if you see, is actually pretty big. Let's take a look and see. Well, it's over half of an inch. So we definitely can get our foot around it. Take that one stitch in place. There we go. And off we go. Don't forget to change your needles often. I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down and I'm going to cut this thread off just to get it out of the way. There we go. And I'm going to need to make one more change here, and that's in the configuration of my elbow. Yeah, I know it's weird. Okay, keeping those stitches a little bit smaller when we're going around the curves. You're going to want to hold this down when you get up here. And what could happen? Okay, I'm not going to say it's going to happen because I've personally never had it happen. But what's conceivably could happen is that little tongue can come up and you could end up with your foot underneath it. And that may cause a whole host of issues. There we go. Nice and slow around that curve. And we're going to come back up, being careful when we go here to fall off of that cliff. Very nice. And we will stop with our needle down. Okay, let's see who else has made it in. Oh my goodness, Kathy's here from Texas. Cindy, good morning. Becky's here. Good morning, Becky and Bev, Kim, Regina, my friend. So nice to see you. Patsy's here from New Mexico. Oh my goodness, we just have a house full this morning and I love it. Okay, so because I'm doing this as a spinifex type template, I'm going to go from side to side and we're going to make another rotation. Around we're going to go. I'm going to stick to the outside first and then I'm going to come around, holding that little tongue down, come to the inside. Make a little adjustment on my hands. Take it easy around the top of this because you could end up flying off. Don't ask me how, I know. Okay, around we're going to go, and this will be our second rotation. This would be so nice to have to use on a Thanksgiving table runner. That's all I can keep thinking about is, oh yeah, I gotta make a Thanksgiving table runner for this. So now we've got our two sides done. We're gonna go ahead and turn this. Look at how cool that is. I think that's pretty. I really do. When I first saw when I first saw the wishbones, I thought, how can you make those look cool? Well, there's 100 ways to make them look cool. That's all. Hi, Deb. Deb made it here from Ontario. And Sylvia's here from Canada as well. Good morning, our northern friends. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, stick this back in. We're going to do rotation 3. I'll just do half of it so that it doesn't eat up all of our time here. And take one stitch in place. Off we're going to go. Now you notice I do take my time, sometimes more than others. Usually in the morning is when I'm the most patient. So it will be the time of day that I tend to be slowest. Okay, now I'm just going to switch my hands over because we don't want to stitch our fingers onto the top of our quilt. And that kind of brings to mind something else. You know, these older machines like this is a vintage machine. It doesn't have a lot of torque to it. So if you do stitch your finger down, it's going to stop rather easily when it hits something solid, usually your bone. Okay. The new machines, though, the newest machines actually have enough torque to drive that needle right into your bone. And that hurts. And it usually entails an emergency department visit. So make sure that you do keep those fingers away from that needle while you're stitching, especially if you're stitching fast. Okay, here we go. Now things are starting to shape up here really pretty. And switch my fingers out here and come around. And we're going to put one more in. And these are making a beautiful crosshatch in the center of the design. Okay, let's do one more. Then we're going to take a look at this half. All righty, here we go. Doesn't matter whether you go to the right or the left. I've been going to the right each time, so this time I will go to the left. And basically all that's going to change is I'm going to use my right side pointer finger to hold that little tongue down first. Then I'll switch it over to the left side. There we go. And here it is. You'll see how easily that goes around as long as it's held down. And it really doesn't affect the rest of the template. There we come, back up to the very top. And we have got some nice little secondary designs in here. So let's take a look at them. Oops, there we go. We're going to cut those off. And that. What do you think? It turned out beautiful, didn't it? Okay, let's see where we are at. Um, Debbie, good morning from Glendale. Anna Marie is here from New York. Joyce said, whoops, that's not Joyce. Joyce said, let's get that out. Keep getting the wrong one. There we go. Friend of mine just stitched through her finger the other day with one of the high-end embroidery machines. Very painful. I'll bet that was. That would be horrible. Absolutely horrible. The scare of all times. Debbie. Oh, Debbie says, Becky, love what you've been posting on Facebook. Is that in Westerly by me? We need to see that. Okay, Jan Lewis says the needle screw is what gets her finger and it hurts. You know, Jan, I've had it happen. I think if you took a poll of this morning's viewers, they pretty much everybody has. Okay, Becky says, I love it. Kim says, ooh, I didn't think I was going to like this template, but this is gorgeous. It really is, isn't it? I'm going to, Marlene's here from Virginia. Good morning. And Donna made it from North Carolina. And this template that we are looking at this morning is the Wishbone template, the 4-piece set from Donna MaCauley. Now, I just want to show you just a little something, and this came to mind because we did our simple oval set yesterday. Okay, that's enough. Go lay down. Somebody is just looking for attention this morning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab out the smallest oval that I have here. And I'm going to see how that's going to look. If I put it in here, yeah, it's going to work, guys. It's going to work. So this is just going to add a little bit of fill with this. And I'll be honest with you, it might look good and it might not. So let's take a chance and see what happens, okay? This is a lot of times just literally how we come up with ideas. We play with them. Okay, so now I'm going to, I should just graze. Ah, it worked out perfect. I should just graze those outsides, which I did. Okay. Now I'm going to stop here with my needle down because I want to do embellishment. I'm going to twist my template. It's going to come in. I'm going to stop there, which is about 1/4 of an inch away from the center vertical line. Now we're going to twist it in this direction. And again, we're going to stop at about 1/4 of an inch away. I got a little lower on that one, but that's no worries. And let's take this out and see what it looks like. Hey guys, I like this. I like it. It really adds a whole nother dimension. So we can use different templates together to get totally different looks. What do you think? It's kind of cool, hey? Good morning, Jacqueline. Oh, like how pretty. Oh, I do too. Definitely, definitely. Linda says, look how pretty that center is. And she's absolutely right. Look at the secondary design that comes out in this. It's absolutely gorgeous. So there's a whole lot of things that we can see that happen here with our templates as we go through them. And secondary designs is one of the really big things that we have happen for us. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my oval back. And the next thing I want to do is just like a border design, or it could be an edge to edge design. Okay, so I'm going to take, yeah, let's do it with this size. This is going to be our 2.5 inch. And let me show you the math on it right after I get some caffeine, right? Oh, yeah, gotta get that caffeine. This is a 3-inch ruler. I'm going to hold it in this direction. So what we've got here, yeah, just going to line everything up really nicely. Let's take a look. Here's our vertical center. Our vertical center comes out 1.5 inches from the center to this point right here is 1.5 inches. And from this center over here is also 1.5 inches. But remember, we need to take our 1/4 inch off on each side, which means we will have one, we'll have 1.5 inches wide total. Now our horizontal measurement, and this is where our needle's going to go, comes down 1, 2, and 3/4. I'm sorry, it comes down, let's do it this way. It comes down exactly 3 inches. We take a 1/4 inch off of the top and a 1/4 inch off of the bottom, and that is how we get 2.5 inches height. So our height of this template is 2.5 inches. So if I were to come here and put 1 1/4 inch, right here's my center line. Now I'm going to come here and put 1 1/4 inches on top. I'm going to just set a line in here and 1 1/4 inches on the bottom. I'm going to go like this. And this is the space that this template will fill from here to here. We're going to line it up with the center. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip-flop it on itself. So I am going to put a pretend seam line here so that we can line that up. And I want that lined up right on this line, which is the 1/4 of an inch from the needle, here and here. Tippy. Tippy is really being ornery this morning. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, no, go lay down. Enough. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start at the top. Am I going to start at the top? No, actually, I think I'm going to start at the bottom. Sorry. Either way we do it, we have to end up doing extra stitching. Let me get this over here so you can see. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way so you can see better, okay? So here's where we're going to start. I'm going to go ahead and pull my thread up. If I can grab it, put my foot and my needle down. Okay. So we're lining up. We have 3 different lines, actually. I have my bottom horizontal, my center horizontal, and my top horizontal. And we are going to need to do some extra stitching, or like we always do when we do a circle, because what we're going to do is we're going to do this in one pass with the template in this orientation. Okay, here we go. Take it nice and easy, keeping those stitches just a little smaller. And don't push the foot against the template. And don't push the template against the foot. That is the most important thing to do. Okay, so we've made one complete rotation, and we need to come back to this widest point. So let's go ahead and travel back over here till we get to that point. Nice and easy. Holding on to that tongue again. Oh my goodness, I'm having a heck of a time regulating my speed this morning. Oh, not enough caffeine, that's what it is. And my foot just lifted. That has given me another issue. There we go. So we're gonna come around and we're going to stop right there. Now we are going to slide our template over and we're going to line everything up again. Okay. And we're going to come up, make that little top right there. Now, this one, I would not say go around the opposite way like we do with circles and ovals and such. Okay. Um, the reason is I don't know. I think it'd be better. It just looks better if we do it all at the same spot right there. So here we go. We're going to travel back, not pushing our foot against the template or the template against the foot. When you have a template that is designed like this one, where that tongue in that can move just a little bit. Not much, but it can move just enough to make you go face plant. You know, palm, I don't know what they call that, but when you put your palm and your face together there, it can sometimes be just a little bit irritating. So there we go. Here's our third one. I think we'll do one more after this. And around. Again, don't push. Don't push either the template or the foot. We just want to guide it around. And once you get real good at that, holding it steady will be less of an issue. But there still are days when I have to remind myself. And one of the best ways of reminding yourself how to do a template is to practice it on a practice sandwich before you bring your true project to the machine. Oops, got to line that up again. Almost lined it up wrong. Look at the cute. Isn't that cute? A chalk pen. Okay. Oh, I'm way behind. Kathy, good morning. Oh, and don't be sorry. I'm glad you made it. Alice from Colorado's here. Awesome. Cindy Shelley's here. Sylvia says, what about the white marking pen? Okay, Sylvia, I'm going to tell you about that white marking pen. And Becky says a chalk pen. And yes, it's true. Okay. I could have started on the other side so I didn't have to backtrack. That's true, Becky. But I think, oh, you're right. If I had done it the same way each time, I would not. Good catch, Becky. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, for a wider area, what about alternating the design? I'm going to give you, this is just our first pass, Patsy. We're going to do second. Looks, looks like a wine glass. Oh, I love it, Sylvia. Cecile, good morning. Okay, so Becky is saying if we started here and stopped here, we would not have to um, backtrack. And she's absolutely right. She picked up on something I didn't, and I do really appreciate that. So we're going to do this last pass. And when we come back and do the other pass, we're going to do it the way Becky says. Okay, around we're going to go. Oops. You guys can see. And these do look like wine glasses. I never thought of that. And around that tongue again, being careful not to push on anything. Here we go. Gonna come around and do our last backtracking. Back we're gonna go. And then I am going to break thread here. You would not necessarily have to do that, but I am going to, okay? Because I want to show you what one pass with this looks like. Isn't that cool, guys? I really, really like it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over. And we are going to do a pass with it in this direction. I'm going to line it up with my center right here. That's my vertical center. I'm going to line my horizontal center up here, here, and here. This is my horizontal top, my horizontal bottom. Now, thanks to Becky, we're going to start here and we don't need to do any backtracking, right? Now, let me think. If we go in this direction, we only get that one clean one. If we go in this direction, no, we're still only going to get one clean one without backtracking, I think. Let's go ahead and try it, Becky. Let's see what happens. We're going to start here. Going to pull up our thread. Here we go. And we're going to come all the way around. And line myself up again, making sure everything is lined up. I'm going to go to the left. And around that tongue, nice and easy. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get those threads out of my hand. That's very distracting. I don't know if you guys notice that or not, but it can be very distracting. And let's put this down here. And what you're going to see, oh no, there we go. I thought I slipped, but I didn't. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That first one sticks out just a little bit, which, as you can see, can be confusing. Okay. I'm going to, let me cut this extra thread off because it can be so annoying. There we go. Come back like this. There we go. We'll put this back down. Now, again, we're going to line up all of our horizontal lines, which is the top, the middle, the bottom. Our vertical line is going to come right through the center of the previous rotation. And we're all set. And down we come. And around. Okay, now what happened to me is because I'm sitting way back from the machine, I actually was not lined up perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I've got my needle down here and I'm just going to slide that template up that little tiny bit that I was off. And chances are pretty good nobody will ever notice it. And we're going to come all the way around, ending up back here. Okay, so here is our full rotation, but we still need to get back over to this side. So I'm going to do the traveling just like I did on this rotation or this pass that I did. And that traveling is on the inside. So let's go ahead and come around, taking our time, keeping those stitches a little smaller. This is going to give us a really cool secondary design in the center of the wishbones. Now we're going to stop at the widest point, which is right there. We're going to come over and we're going to realign. Again, realigning this top horizontal line, the center horizontal line, and the bottom horizontal line. Okay, let's take a look. Okay. Becky says she hopes it works. I was thinking it should work too, Becky. But yeah, it's like a circle, oval, any of those. We always are going to start on one side, but we have to get back to that other side somehow. So unfortunately, traveling seems to be the only way. Okay. So Jan says, should you put stable tape on the tongue? Good morning, Carol. Good to see you. Good to see you. Putting stable tape on the tongue, which is in and of itself a tongue twister. Yeah, it could help. It could help, definitely. If you are worried that that is going to move at all for you, then yes, you should. Definitely should put some stable tape there. Okay. So do we have any other questions? And then we'll go ahead and move on. Okay. Jan, the good reason to put the stable tape on is if you're holding that tongue down, okay? You don't always have to hold the tongue down if you are well versed at going around that tongue or any other shape without moving it, okay? Then you would be okay. All right. So here we go. Let's get started again. Okay, Rosalind says, it seems like if you use the heart of plenty and move the template as in sewing the top. You know what, Ruth Ellen? I'm not. Oh, the heart of plenty. Yes, that is a good template. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Kathy says, oh, I love it. Kathy says, I wonder what Donna was thinking when she designed this ruler. It seems to be a little out of left field to me. You know, maybe it was Thanksgiving time. Enough. Okay. My little Tippy is just being ornery this morning. Okay, so let's go ahead and go around again. And there is at least one other thing that I do want to show you because I think it's pretty cool. And when I get going too fast, things start going wacko. Okay, so we're going to come around to where we started and travel back to the other side. Taking our time, guys, taking our time. There we go. When I get going too fast, I kind of feel like I'm losing control of the template. And that's not a good feeling. Okay, here's our last one. We're going to line up those 3 horizontal lines, and then we're going to line up the vertical right through the center of the previous pass of wishbones. And there we go. Nice and easy, right? This template too, I'm finding is a very easy template to follow. It doesn't have, even though it looks like that tongue could be kind of iffy to get around, it really isn't. I'm finding it to be very, very easy to use. Now, if I could find that bobbin thread, I'll cut it. Where did it go? Well, I know it's there somewhere. There it is. It's the same color as the fabric on the back. And there we go for a nice little border. Isn't that cute? It really, I love what's happening with our secondary designs. We've center here. We could put a little swirl or something in there and then come up here and come back into the center and do it again. If you want to add a little bit of free motion in there. So that is a nice little border pattern. You could, if you wanted to use the largest size, you could use that as as an edge to edge tool. Okay, so that could be done. Let me show you one more thing here. And what I've got is I've got a little bit of a gridded out here. And I'm not really sure what this grid is exactly. So it's not going to work perfectly because it was for another project that I didn't end up doing, but I think we can work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish it out here. Is it ideal? Not really, but that's okay. That is okay. And we're going to go here. Just going to kind of finish this all the way out. This is 2 inches. So maybe if I did this one, that wouldn't work either. The math doesn't work on it, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this, but I'm going to give you the math as we go along, okay? So that you won't be confused by the way that I am holding this. Okay, so how the math is going to work is we're going to put one vertical center line to start with. And then we're going to put 3 horizontal lines in. And those 3 horizontal lines for the 3.5-inch wishbone are going to be at, whoops, I need to do it this way. Okay, so the first one is going to be 1 3/4 inches for the center. Now, if you want, you can just do the center line also. So we could just line it up like this with the center line. Let's do it that way. I think it'll be less confusing. So here's my one vertical center line and my one horizontal center line. Okay. We're going to start here, right here on the center line. We're going to make one rotation. We should only need this vertical space, I think, one time, but you can draw it out as many times as you want. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my needle down and I'm going to snip out. There we go. And down we go. Starting on that center horizontal center line, keeping that vertical line lined up. And this will work the same for any size you're going to use. Because remember, the center line is in fact the center line. That is static. That does not change. And we're going to stop on our horizontal center line exactly where we started. Okay, Deborah's here from Inglewood, California. Good morning, Deborah. And Jeannie's here from Washington. Okay, Jana Grady has a non-wishbone question. First time she's using Best Press on a large product. She loves the softness. It's leaving the material instead of stiff. Yeah, and that is a big difference. Like spray starch, it's better to spray and iron 2 or 3 times for the top. Will one time be enough for the backing material? Jan, if you are able to press the backing material flat and even, nice and flat with one layer of Best Press, it will be fine. However, when I do mine, on my backs, I like to put 2 layers because I want to make sure that it is going to stay nice and wrinkled free. So it's kind of a personal decision to make, but that is the way that I do it. Okay, Jan, I hope that helps. Okay, so now what I am going to do is I am going to flip my template, keeping that horizontal center at the horizontal center. And here we go. I think I'll go down first. Come around. Now, on this one, we are going to need to do graveling just like we did on the other one. There we go. And I got to do a little smooshing. There we go. No worries. Up we're going to come to the center. Take your time. You'll notice that top is not a point. It's a little rounded center, isn't it? Okay, so now you can make the decision. Are you going to travel on the bottom or travel on the top? I think this time I'm going to travel on the top. Nice and easy. Coming around, my foot just cut loose on me. The only disadvantage I see to a vintage machine. Okay, and here we're going to stop on our halfway mark. Now I'm just going to turn my template around, line up that center line, make sure it's nice and straight, and you'll see that when I cut my beginning threads here, I did not cut them clean. Okay, and we're going to do one more time around. And now remember, this is simply using the halfway horizontal center line to line up each time. Around we go. And around again. And I don't have to travel on this one if I don't want to. And here we have a really nice fill. This would be a great edge-to-edge design. And what I would do with it, if it were me, I would come and do my second row, starting here, again using that same vertical crosshair, center line. Okay. And this is going to set it up again for some really interesting secondary designs. Remember not to push that template against the ruler foot, and don't push the ruler foot against that template. And you'll see just how much that center of that template came up as I was going around it. So you definitely need to be very careful if you're not putting your finger down on it like this, which I think is a good idea. So now I'm coming back to the center line. Gonna stop and move it over. Go ahead and click that. I'm going to flip my template and I'm going to line up my center horizontal line, and around we're gonna go. Now, this is not the biggest one. You could do the 4.5 inch, would be a really wide, nice, big quilting size. And now the reason that people choose different size templates to quilt their quilt with is density. Two reasons. One is, what is your batting rated? And the second is, do you want the quilt to be a little stiffer or do you want it to be fluffier? The further away your rows of stitching, the softer the quilting is going to feel against your skin. The closer together, it's going to feel stiffer. Neither is right, neither is wrong. Okay? It's just the way it's going to feel. If you want a really fluffy, soft quilt, you will want to do a couple of things. You'll want to get a batting that is rated for 4-inch or greater quilting allowance, which means simply that the batting won't lose its shape and it won't ball up inside of the quilt when it's washed if it is stitched at a maximum of so many inches apart, or minimum can always be minimum, but the maximum. So if your batting is rated, say, 4.5 inches, if you stitch everything 5+ inches apart, oh, I lined this up wrong. I did, guys. I lined it up wrong. I apologize. So if your batting is rated at 4.5 and you stitch 5.5 inches apart, what can happen is you can end up with little balls of batting uh, in between your stitching. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to look, not like this. Okay. I don't know how I did that. I was busy talking. But this also is just a really, really nice look. And this would obviously come up and touch here, and these two would touch here. Okay. So just so you know, it's just one of those quirky little things. But that is, in fact, our wishbones. So anyway, back to the rating on your batting. You definitely want to keep it to the maximum size or smaller, and all batting will definitely give you a rating. More natural, I think, is 3.5 to 4.5 inches is the maximum. Thermore batting, which is a polyester batting, and it's extremely thin, but it's great for things like placemats, tablecloths, clothing, things like that. And that has a 10-inch rating. So you can actually stitch 10 inches apart, and when you wash it, everything is going to stay intact, which is really kind of cool. Mary Lou's here from Western New York. Good morning, Mary Lou. Nice to see you. Oh, Deborah, thank you so much. She said the demos make so much better when using the rulers. And they do. They really do. Just talking about them, I don't think gives you a full picture of it, you know. So anyway, back to batting rating, make sure you check it. That's all I'm saying. Just check it and try and keep yourself within that rating for your quilting. This is one of the reasons that I love the fact that our templates come in different sizes. There may be a time when I want to use a small border like this. For example, if I'm doing a tablecloth, I don't want a big 6-inch border on a tablecloth. That would just look kind of silly. However, if I'm doing this as an edge-to-edge design, that gives me enough fill that my quilt is still gonna look beautiful. It's still gonna be nice and soft and cuddly. Where if I did it with this one, you can see how stiff that's going to get. Now, I just wanna quickly talk to you guys about next week, okay? Next week, we will not be doing a template. Okay, well, we're gonna do a template, but that's not gonna be the focus of our show next week. Next week, what we are going to do is we're gonna show you how to manage one of those larger quilts under your needle, okay? Hi, Julia, nice to see you. So what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to puddle that quilt, how to use the suspension system to take the weight off, where we can run into problems. We're going to do a little troubleshooting too. Show you what I have found over the years that makes those larger quilts in a small machine just a little bit more challenging. This right here, this machine has a throat of 7¼ inches. Okay, that's a pretty small machine, actually, if you think about it. But I've done a queen size quilt on this machine successfully. I, mile grow. Um, I want you guys to see that it can be done. I want you to not roll your machine so that it looks like a log, because putting a log through here is not easy because you got to control that whole thing. Okay, Kathy would like my email address. All right, here we go. Let me get that. There you go. There is my email address, Kathy. So I hope you'll tune in. If even if you're doing like a baby quilt or something, the methods apply to any size. And I hope that we're able to give you something that you can really use, take away that will help. Um, oh, thank you so much. Um, the big thing is we don't want you to be laid up with shoulder pain about a half hour into your project. Will I cover the basting and other basics prior to actually putting the needle under the quilt? Di asked. And the answer to that is yes, I certainly will. Okay. Because, oh, Debbie, thank you so much. Debbie's here from Oklahoma. Um, yeah, I will, because that makes a whole different scenario, whether you thread based, whether you glue based, or whether you pin based. I've done each of them. Okay. I can tell you, I do have a favorite. It's probably not the most popular one, but it does work well. Hi, Mary. Mary made it up here from a little north of me. You guys are getting snow tomorrow, Mary. I just couldn't believe it. 3 to 6 inches of snow in the Highlands tomorrow. Wow. I'm glad I live down here. Oh, Joyce, I am looking forward to next week as well. Oh, Deborah, you're quite welcome. Batting is really important part of the quilt. And when you have batting, I know that you guys who have been with me a while have seen me struggle with one batting that I got that was lower quality, and it changed heights all the way through it, and it made it very difficult to stitch on. So definitely get the best batting that you can afford. Okay, that's important. Some people just use flannel fabric for a batting as well. So we've got all kinds of different things available to us. Well, if we have no more questions, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. I have to stop and think about it every time. I hope that you'll visit me on sewsteady.com. Under the Education tab is the instructors' names, and um, in that area, you will get all of my contact information, and I will definitely get back to you. Di, I will see you Friday. We start our poinsettia panel on Friday morning. So I know I'm going to see some of you there, and for the rest of you, we'll see you next week. So until then, let's quilt.